Let me start with a quick thought experiment. Imagine someone finally reaches a few $1 million in savings. Most people picture the same ending: early retirement, slow mornings, maybe spending more time traveling or relaxing somewhere peaceful. Sounds like the finish line, right? But let's shift the scene. Instead of a beach, picture a quiet kitchen at 6:30 in the morning. A woman named Sarah is sitting at the table with coffee and her tablet open. She's 60 years old and lives in Denver. She spent most of her career working as a senior project manager in the tech industry. Her mortgage is paid off, her kids are grown and mostly independent, and her investment accounts total just over $3 million. From the outside, it looks like she could retire any time. But here's the strange part. Sarah keeps delaying retirement. Every few days, she opens a retirement calculator again. She reads market news before breakfast. She recently postponed a long trip she had been planning for years. Not because she can't afford it, because she's worried. And she's not alone. A recent survey from Northwestern Mutual found that nearly half of Americans who are technically millionaires still say they don't feel ready to retire. That raises a really interesting question. Why do people who appear financially set still feel uncertain?
Let's unpack what's really going on. First reason, the finish line keeps shifting. Early in Sarah's career, her goal was simple: reach $1 million. That felt like freedom. But once she got there, the target changed. Then it became $2 million. Then inflation started rising, so $3 million felt safer. Then someone mentioned healthcare costs and longevity, and suddenly $4 million sounded more responsible. This happens a lot, especially with high achievers. The number isn't just about money anymore. It becomes tied to the feeling of security. Research from Purdue University has shown that after a certain income level, additional earnings don't increase emotional well-being as much as people expect. But financial worry can still grow, which means without a clear definition of enough, the target keeps moving. Second reason, the timing of retirement matters more than people expect. Many people think retirement math is straightforward. Save a large amount, withdraw a percentage each year, let the market do the rest. But the reality is more complicated. There's something called sequence of returns risk. It simply means the order of market returns can dramatically affect retirees. If major downturns happen early in retirement while someone is withdrawing money, the portfolio may struggle to recover later. That's why people who understand markets often hesitate before leaving the workforce. The risk isn't just how much money you have, it's when you start relying on it. Financial planners often suggest strategies like keeping a couple of years of expenses in cash, having multiple income sources, adjusting spending during market declines. These small changes can make retirement far more stable. Third reason, healthcare uncertainty. One of the biggest unknowns in retirement planning is medical expenses. Estimates from Fidelity Investments suggest that the average retired couple may need hundreds of thousands of dollars just for health care over their retirement years, and that doesn't even include long-term care. Care facilities, home care services, or assisted living can be extremely expensive and difficult to predict. So this creates a tricky situation. Many retirees have too many assets to qualify for assistance programs, but still need to be cautious about spending. So even large portfolios can start to feel less secure when healthcare enters the equation. Fourth reason, work provides more than income. For many professionals, work becomes a major part of identity. It structures the day. It creates social interaction. It gives a sense of progress and purpose.
Sixth reason, inflation changes the long-term picture. Inflation doesn't feel dramatic year to year, but over decades, it reshapes retirement budgets. Expenses gradually rise, sometimes faster in areas like healthcare, travel, or services. So when people look at their current spending and project it forward 20 or 30 years, the numbers can look very different. That uncertainty is another reason financially responsible people hesitate to stop working. So, what actually helps people retire with confidence? A few patterns tend to show up. First, they clearly define what lifestyle they want in retirement, not just a savings target. Second, they build income streams that continue after leaving full-time work. Third, they develop interests and routines outside their careers before retiring. Fourth, they stay flexible with spending depending on market conditions. And finally, they take healthcare planning seriously instead of leaving it as a guess. The truth is, people like Sarah aren't necessarily afraid because they lack money. They're cautious because they understand the risks and uncertainties involved. The retirees who end up happiest aren't always the wealthiest. They're the ones who reached a point where they could confidently say, "This is enough for the life I want," and they allowed themselves to move into the next chapter.